Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I'm making this video because this story is absolutely hilarious and it should be particularly funny to anybody who is an XRP holder, because looking back on the entire SEC v. Ripple lawsuit, thinking back to the degree of which the SEC is clearly vindictive and ill-willed, it also is worth noting that not only are they those things, because let's be real, the people over at the SEC, those attorneys, they are a bunch of asshat pricks. They are winged creatures from the depths of hell. I understand all of that. But they're also incompetent at all sorts of stuff. And they show their incompetency in many ways. So a lot of times they will make arguments that are not even in their own best interest. They'll do this double speak thing, thinking they can get it past the judges, and they, more often than not really working so well, which is why Judge Knepper, you may recall, said that the SEC, the quote was exactly or close to the SEC's not engaging into with a faithful allegiance to the law. I'm sure many of you remember that one. But that's not it. They also screw up very mundane things that they should not be screwing up, and at least that part, if we're going to go through all this misery and the actual attacks, at least let's enjoy laughing at them for this truly very obvious, veritable cornucopia of incompetency. I am here for it. Here's the headline on your screen from Protos. SEC accidentally uploads Gary Gensler's draft speech. That's right, and it's got private notes that we weren't supposed to see. So I'm going to run through this for you. Oh my God, this is real life. This is real life. And mind you, these are the people that know better than you. These are the wizards of smart that want to take away your opportunity for financial freedom, and they're quote-unquote protecting you. They don't even know how to use the goddamn internet. It really burns my biscuits. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Now, if you humor me for just a moment before getting to this sweet, sweet nectar, delicious, right in this story, let me remind you that we've, this year, seen at least equally absurd, if not more absurd, incompetence from the SEC. Do you remember this around the time that the spot Bitcoin ETF was actually approved? Do you remember that time that the X account, the official SEC X account, was hijacked? Do you remember that? And a hacker posted that incorrectly, that at that time the Bitcoin ETF was approved. Look at this headline from the story is from January 10th. SEC's Twitter account hacked to say Bitcoin ETFs approved. Politicians and lawyers demand investigation into security breach. And here's the fake post on your screen right now. I remember covering this at the time, and my God, it's bad and it's hysterical because it's absurd. But unfortunately, there is a truly bad aspect to this, which is not funny, which is that this fake news of the Bitcoin ETF getting approved, it resulted very briefly in the price of Bitcoin spiking before it was found to be false. And that's just based on exuberance within the market, right? That didn't really have anything to do with flows, obviously, because the ETF wasn't even approved at that point. But there's that exuberance when that news broke. And people got liquidated because of that. There were real-world monetary impacts, people actually harmed. Now, of course, I don't think it's smart to be playing with leverage, but if you're going to, you wouldn't want incompetency from the SEC to get in the way of how things turn out for you if you're going to play with leverage, right? And so there's that post on the screen. You can pause if you want to read it for the sake of the time. I'm going to keep rolling along here. But why did this happen? Well, we found out like the next day. Here's the headline from Cointelegraph. SEC did not have 2FA enabled. Ex-safety team on fake Bitcoin ETF post. And so I don't need to read the article. I just wanted to remind you that the reason this happened is because they did not have 2FA turned on. That's it. And you know what makes it even more funny? And I remember covering this at the time as well. They were preaching publicly that when it comes to internet security, because they're trying to protect you, right? Because you don't even know how to get your own shirt on in the morning without daddy government. They were telling you, before this happened, they were preaching to you how to protect your accounts, and they were telling you that you should have 2FA, and that is true, but they didn't do it. And then people got liquidated. This is pure incompetency. This is ridiculous. These are the people that think that they know what's best for you. These are the people that are attacking you have the XRP community. I mean, you well know, I don't have to tell you. We went through years of nonsense. These are the same people. They know best for you, though, right? No, they don't. And so I actually first came across this It was highlighted by, well, it's highlighted by a lot of people. I first saw it from Caitlin Long. Caitlin Long is the founder and CEO of Custodia Bank, which is a crypto-first bank, and she's having quite the fight with certain parts of the federal government as it pertains to running a crypto bank. And I've been talking about that on and off as she's been going through her battle. And so she wrote here, OMG, look at Gensler's internal comments that the SEC mistakenly posted publicly. And so there's a story on it now from Protos. SEC accidentally uploads Gary Gensler's draft speech. Yes, this is indeed real life. The Securities and Exchange Commission has accidentally uploaded Gary Gensler's draft speech on the public good of disclosure, complete with suggested tweaks and notes. God. It's just like, this isn't even a one-off thing. That's the thing. Like, that's why I wanted to share with you first and just remind you about the hack of their X account, because they didn't have 2FA. There's a pattern here of incompetency. There's a pattern. This isn't a one-off thing. Anyway, piece continues. The speech posted to the SEC's website today was prepared for the Peterson Institute for International Economics and archived by users online. It features internal comments that show edits on repetitive sentiment, quote, diplomatically helpful, end quote, suggestions, and general cuts to the speech. For instance, after a line about large financial institutions restructuring, quote, in the face of a potential failure, end quote, an edit suggests, quote, I strongly recommend that a sentence be placed here or somewhere in the first part of the speech to reassure markets that you are not making the speech because you think there is an imminent crisis, end quote. Another edit suggests, quote, it may be diplomatically helpful to acknowledge that we have had constructive dialogues with many regulators, end quote, before highlighting that the UK's Bank of England has been particularly constructive. After describing a goal to help taxpayers avoid the brunt of a systemically important financial institution's restructuring, the speech reads, quote, the best way to achieve that is through robust disclosures that meet market expectations, not just legal requirements, end quote. This line is described as a, quote, key sentence, great, exclamation point, end quote. And, of course, eventually this thing ultimately got taken down. There was an error 403 forbidden, the link's no longer live, and then they put up one without all of these notes here. But this just highlights the incompetency. If this were a one-off instance, I mean, I'd still probably laugh about it because, I mean, that's just stupid. But with full context and understanding the behavior of these asshat pricks over the last several years and the attacks on crypto, I mean, it's part of the tapestry of their just awful, vindictive approach trying to harm the investors that they're actually sworn to protect. That's the real reason. That's the real story here, as far as I'm concerned. It's part of who they are. Bumbling fools, but they know better than you. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Absolutely not. They do not know better than me. And look at this, too. Look at this headline. I just wanted to mention this. SEC crypto enforcement hits $4.7 billion this year, rising 3,000% from 2023. So these people that don't know how to use to use the Weber nuts, typing with their fat little fingers, they don't know how to do that, but they are attacking our space and they know what's best for you. How do you feel about that? Daddy government coming in and telling you what's best for you and protecting you by removing your opportunity for life-changing wealth. I mean, I know we're on the same page here, but damn, it's just ridiculous. 3,000% increase? And for what? And who is being protected? And all these bogus assertions and making up terms like crypto asset security, which is not a thing that exists, by the way. It literally doesn't exist. Like you're trying to pull over a fast one on a judge by using a term like that literally is not a thing. Increasingly, the judges are not falling for this. The word is out that the SEC is not to be trusted. And I know, look, judges are humans. The word is out. When they see this many judges rebuking them for various reasons, then when the SEC comes to their court for the first time, they're going to be like, you shady mofos. That's it, because judges are humans. And so that's to our favor, at least, but the SEC doesn't even realize the degree to which they're harming their own case. But of course, they're not operating in good faith, so that part isn't particularly surprising. So let's just point and laugh. At least we got this. I mean, it's stupid, But it's the reason I'm making this video is because, again, like I said, it paints the bigger picture. This is a point in time. This is what we're living in right now. And this is a shining example of not just the vindictiveness. I mean, I've talked about that in this video as well. But in this case, it highlights the pure incompetency, just sandwiches it all together with Gary Gensler right there in the middle. Really burns my biscuits. All up in this bitch. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Lambo.